Today's video is on rotational dynamics. We will talk about what is torque, the equation, net torque, moment of inertia, Newton's second law for rotation, and then we'll have a summary. What is torque? Torque is a measure of how effectively a force can cause rotational motion. For example, if I have a wrench on a bolt like I do here, here's my bolt, here's my wrench. If I apply the force at distance 1, it will be less effective than if I apply it at distance 2 or distance 3. The equation for torque is force times radius times sine of the angle between them. And that angle is measured from the parallel axis. So an angle of 90 degrees, so if I'm pushing perpendicular to the radius line, then that would be a sine of 90, which is 1. So in the best case, when you can push perpendicular, your torque is just force times radius. Net torque is the same concept as net force, but applied to torques. So if I have some force 1, like a seesaw here, and radius 1 that the person is sitting, and radius 2 the other person is sitting, and force 2, if I were to calculate the torques, torque 2 over here, torque 1 over here, I could just add them together, one being positive rotation and one being negative rotation, to figure out what my net torque would be. Moment of inertia is like in Newton's first law, when we talked about it being the law of inertia, it resists linear motion. Well, the moment of inertia is how the mass resists rotational motion, and it depends upon the shape of the object. Here's a picture from the book, which shows how different objects resist rotational motion, and there's equations listed beside right here to show how you could calculate that, and it's based on the mass and the radius that effective mass is located at. Newton's second law is F equals ma and relates a force and a mass and an acceleration. The rotational version of this is very similar. It's torque equals I alpha, which is the torque is equal to the moment of inertia times the angular acceleration alpha. In this video, we looked at what is torque. We looked at the equation, the net torque, moment of inertia, and then we discussed Newton's law and how it affects rotational motion. As always, thanks for watching, and see you next time.